Imagine standing in the middle of a NASCAR pit lane, engines screaming at 200 miles per hour, tires burning rubber into the asphalt. And then someone tells you that the man responsible for building the most feared team on that track never drove a race car. He played basketball. Not just any basketball. 6 championships, 5 MVP awards, and a legacy so dominant that an entire generation of athletes still tries to copy his mindset. Michael Jordan didn't just change basketball. Now, quietly, methodically, and with the same ruthless ambition that made him a global icon, he is changing NASCAR. And the most shocking part? It's working. Completely, undeniably, historically working. This is the story of 23XI Racing, a team that experts laughed at, competitors ignored, and the entire sport is now desperately trying to stop. Welcome to today's special sports report. The 2026 NASCAR Cup Series season is already delivering moments that will be remembered for years. But no story is more compelling, more surprising, and more significant than the rise of 23XI Racing. What began as a bold and controversial experiment in team ownership has evolved into one of the most competitive and feared organizations in all of American motorsport. Their lead driver, Tyler Reddick, is currently positioned at the top of the standing, and the rest of the field is beginning to realize that this team is not here to protect. They are here to dominate. When Michael Jordan officially announced the formation of 23XI Racing, the reaction from the motorsport world was not exactly. Critics called it a vanity project. Analysts questioned whether a basketball legend had any real understanding of what it takes to compete at the highest level of NASCAR. The sport already had its powerhouses: Hendrick Motorsports, Joe Gibbs Racing, Team Penske, organizations built over decades with engineering depth, championship experience, and institutional knowledge that takes generations to develop. A new team backed by a celebrity, no matter how legendary, seemed unlikely to challenge that order. But those critics made one critical mistake. They underestimated Michael Jordan's obsession with winning. From the very beginning, 23XI Racing was constructed differently than most people expected. Jordan did not simply put his name on a car and let others handle the details. The competitive mentality that defined his playing career was embedded into every layer of the organization. Personnel decisions were made with championship standards in mind. Engineering resources were invested aggressively. The culture inside the team was built around a single, non-negotiable expectation: excellence. The team identified Tyler Reddick as their cornerstone driver, and that decision has proven to be one of the most important in the organization's short. Reddick brought with him a driving style that is both aggressive and calculated, the kind of balance that wins races without destroying equipment. He is strong on road courses, competitive on super speedways, and remarkably composed when races become chaotic and unpredictable. Behind Reddick, the engineering team grew steadily, building systems and processes that now rival those of teams with far longer histories. The 2026 NASCAR Cup Series season has made one thing absolutely clear: 23XI Racing is operating at a level that demands the full attention of every competing organization. Tyler Reddick's performance through the early portion of the season has been defined not by a single spectacular, but by the kind of consistent, points-building excellence that championship campaigns are built on. Repeated top 5 finishes, intelligent race strategy, and flawless execution from the pit crew have kept Reddick firmly inside the championship conversation week after. One of the standout moments of the early season came at Bristol, where intense racing conditions pushed drivers and teams to their absolute. Reddick delivered a composed and powerful performance under pressure that reinforced his reputation as one of the most complete drivers currently competing in the sport. Even in races where victory was not possible, the team found ways to maximize their result, a sign of genuine maturity and strategic intelligence within the organization. This is what separates great teams from good teams win occasionally. Great teams find points, find positions, and find advantages in every single race, regardless of circumstance. It would be impossible to discuss the success of 2311 Racing without addressing the man whose competitive DNA runs through the entire organization. Michael Jordan is not a passive owner. His presence, even from off the track, has shaped the culture, the standards, and the mentality of everyone involved with it. People who work inside 2311 Racing frequently describe an environment that is high pressure, high expectation, and completely intolerant of mediocrity, which is precisely the kind of environment that produces champions. Jordan's approach to ownership mirrors his approach to playing. Study the competition, find their weaknesses, eliminate your own, outwork everyone, expect to win. This philosophy, which carried him to 6 NBA titles, has been transplanted into a NASCAR garage, and the results are beginning to speak for themselves in ways that no one who doubted this project can easily dismiss. The response from rival teams tells you everything you need to know about how seriously 2311 Racing is now being taken across the sport. Hendrick Motorsports and Joe Gibbs Racing, two of the most storied and successful organizations in NASCAR history, are openly acknowledging that this team has become a genuine champion. That acknowledgement from organizations of that caliber is not given lightly. Competing teams are actively adjusting their strategies in response to 2311 Racing's movements. Pit crew programs are being intensified. Aerodynamic development is being accelerated. Driver coaching and race strategy are being reviewed and upgraded. All of this is happening because the teams that have defined NASCAR for decades now recognize a simple and uncomfortable truth. 2311 Racing is no longer chasing the... They have become it. The rise of 2311 Racing carries significance that extends far beyond the results of any single race or season. It represents a fundamental shift in how the sport of NASCAR is evolving. It proves that new ownership models, built on modern data-driven approaches and backed by investment and winning culture, can break through decades of established hierarchy. It demonstrates that the sport is capable of being disrupted, and that disruption can produce something genuinely exciting for fans and competitors alike. For a sport that has sometimes struggled to attract new audiences and new energy, 2311 Racing is exactly the kind of story that creates broader interest, and it connects the world of basketball to the world of motorsport. It gives people who never followed NASCAR a reason to pay attention. And it gives the sport itself a narrative that is compelling, competitive, and still unfinished. As the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series season continues to unfold, one question is being asked in every garage, every broadcast booth, and every conversation among serious followers of the sport. Can anyone stop 2311 Racing? Tyler Reddick is driving with the kind of confidence and consistency that championship seasons are made of. The team behind him is operating with precision, intelligence, and a relentless desire to improve. And Michael Jordan, the man who spent his entire career proving that greatness is not accidental, that winning is a discipline and not a coincidence, is watching every moment with the same fierce focus he brought to every game he ever played. This is no longer a story about a celebrity who decided to buy a racing team. This is a story about ambition meeting execution, about a vision being realized through hard work, competitive excellence, and about one of the most unexpected championship runs in the history of American motor. The engines are running, the standings are real, and the revolution is moving at 200 miles per hour.